I first became aware of Phonon's music with the track Polyrhythm, and I enjoyed the track so much that I actually transcribed it and learned how to play it on the drums. So I've been a fan of Phonon's music ever since, and he recently reached out to me to challenge me to see if I can guess the time signatures in his new track. So will I be able to do it? I don't know, but let's find out together. I'm scared. I'm a little worried here. Let's see. 7 minutes long. What madness could lie within? Oh God. Septuplets? Sevens? Nice. Yeah, sounds like sevens to me. Nice groove. Killin'. So, how did I do? Let's check in with Phonon to find out. I'm pretty confident about the first time signature. This is just 4/4 at 140 beats per minute, right?
Correct.
This sounds like 7 tuplets to me. Septuplets.
It's actually just quints.
Oh, really?
I think there might be one hit that's like not within quints.
Okay.
The main is quintuplet swing.
So this one surprised me. I really thought that it was a septuplet groove. I think there were just enough elements that weren't on the quintuplet grid to lead me to believe that it was some other rhythm. Oh God. Some kind of crazy tuplet, I assume. Here's where it gets crazy.
This is where the crazy shit happens.
So the way that I kind of interpreted this was that we go to a tempo of approximately 133.2 beats per minute, and then it's like sextuplets at that tempo. So basically I'm hearing in my head like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1.
That makes sense.
But it seems like that didn't line up exactly, and I couldn't figure out what the hell was happening there. So
the reason for this is I wrote it so that the tempo stays the same, but it's alternating between 5.2/4 and 3.2 for every bar.
Wait, say that again? 5 point what?
2/4 and then 3.2/4.
5.2.
It's basically like 5 plus a quintuplet, basically.
Oh, that makes sense. Now, typically when we label time signatures using this Western system of notation, we try to avoid having fractions and decimals in the actual numbers. So the top number is the number of beats in a measure. So in a measure of 5.24, we have 5 whole quarter notes, which each contain 5 quintuplets, and then we have an additional 0.2, which is just one more quintuplet. 5 times 5 plus 1 gives us 26 quintuplets in this measure. And the bottom number is telling us what kind of note is giving us the pulse. And this number is expressed in terms of how many of those notes would fit in a measure of 4/4. You would need 20 quintuplets to fill up the measure. So this would give us a time signature of 2620. The next measure is 3.2 quarter notes, which would give us a time signature of 1620.
That's the same as the previous section.
Oh, interesting. Well, I interpreted this in a completely different way. Basically, 5 plus 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4.
That is
5,
basically
1,
right.
2.
The only difference is there's like a little bit of extra note on the end of each of those. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
That's where the 0.2 comes from.
Interestingly, I got this section pretty close to correct, which is a little bit surprising because it's actually the same as the previous section, which I got wrong. The only thing I was missing is that on the end of each of these measures should be one extra quintuplet, one tiny little piece that's added, which would give us the 5.24 and 3.24. Wow. This was 756. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1.
Yeah. So the way I did this one is instead of doing like short bars or phrases, I viewed it as 2 bars of 17.75 over 10.
What?
I mean, so I just based the pulse and the tempo around 10th notes, which is just quintuplets but twice as fast. I did 17 of them, and then 3/4 of one of those. Yeah.
How do you do a 3/4 of a quintuplet in Ableton?
You just I can show you actually. If we make quintuplets,
Yeah.
and then we can just double those for the tenths, you know.
Yeah.
This is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Uh-huh.
So if we want this to be a 0.75, we'll just do this and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put 4 of them,
Oh, I see.
and then do this,
Okay.
and then
wow.
there. And now this is your pulse.
17.7510. We're gonna have to adjust this time signature number a little bit because what we're really talking about in the bottom number is 10 tuplets. Now it seems logical to just write a 10 there, but what we actually need to do is figure out how many 10 tuplets would fit in a normal measure of 4/4. That gives us 40 notes per measure, which means that our actual time signature would be 17.75 40th notes. Now again, traditionally, we try to avoid having fractions and decimals in our time signatures. So in this case, we have to multiply by 4, gives us a total of 71 160th notes. Sounds like 4/4.
Yeah, 4/4 for a long time.
So those are quintuplets. Easy enough.
Yep.
And then we have this thing, which I also interpreted as quintuplets. And then I guess you could call it like a metric modulation, like the quintuplets become 16th notes. But then you have this measure of 2 quintuplets, so I guess that's the 0.4. And then I kind of interpreted it as like 9/16, like ding ding check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. But tell me what is actually going on here.
That's actually really interesting to hear. The reason a lot of the stuff isn't lining up, I think, in your Ableton, is because I'm metrically modulating, but not to quintuplets, but to the pulse of a nested tuplet.
Oh God.
I'm modulating to the pulse of 3 notes with evenly spaced within 2 quintuplets.
Yeah, okay, actually that makes sense because I said there was like a measure of 2 quintuplets and then in that, I didn't mention it, but I have this little triplet thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a and that becomes the
pulse.
The new tempo.
I actually tried to make a new way to notate that stuff, like if irrational time signatures, but you're going one layer deeper opposed to just like doing normal tuplets, doing it to nested tuplets. I actually made a mathematical formula to calculate what the bottom number should be.
Okay, so what would the time signature be again?
It would be 4/5:3:2, or you can also do it the other way to notate it. You can actually just calculate what fraction that is. So it would be 4 over some fraction. I would need to do the math again to.
Right, yeah. So we already know that we can fit 20 quintuplets in a measure of 4/4, and that means that we have 10 instances of 2 quintuplets. And in the space of each one of these intervals of 2 quintuplets, we're gonna squeeze 3 notes. So instead of 20 notes per measure, we would actually have 30, which means that our bottom number would be 30 for 30th notes. So our time signature is 430. So technically that is one correct way of notating this, but in practice, the way that I would probably notate this is that we're actually just going to a new tempo. We're metrically modulating using this nested tuplet, and that's becoming our new tempo. So in the end, we thought about these time signatures in quite a few different ways, and it's interesting to see the perspective of the musician versus the person that is sitting there at the computer actually programming things in there.
I think it's just a difference in mindset and experience, because obviously you're a professionally trained musician who plays all this stuff, whereas I am just a person sitting in a chair making funny music.
So I think it can actually be really liberating from a writing perspective to not be limited by the boxes that we put ourselves in and the grids that we line everything up to. It's a crazy tune.